don't know how to play the ukulele, but I'm working on it. Not really. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm not going to play the ukulele as I've been threatening you guys with for the last 20 seconds. No. I'm not going to play the ukulele. I might learn to play the ukulele, but not today. See, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm putting it away. I'm putting away the dangerous instrument right now. I promise. See, zipping it up. At any rate, hi, I'm Mrs. G, and I'm here to show you the cable knit stitch. That's why you're tuning in to our virtual knitting event. I know some of you are out there right now because you came in and you've gotten your virtual knitting equipment. You've gotten your knitting tools. You're ready to knit with me. And I'm so glad you're here. And you've come to the right spot today because you're going to see me knit on the cable knit stitch. You know, I was planning on adding a cable knit stitch to this lovely piece here, but then I discovered just how inept I am at cable knit stitch. Yeah, I'm really bad at it. It's so horrible. This is going to be one of the most difficult hours of my life. I can tell you that right now. Because unlike previous things, as you saw there with the loom, I kind of figured it out over time. But with this one, things did not go so well. Things happened that should not have happened. So, first of all, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I found that one YouTube video was better than most, and that was the Be Hooked website on YouTube channel. The Be Hooked Beginner's Guide to Knitting Cable, so helpful. I highly recommend Be Hooked. Now, you guys know so let me show you what I've been doing. Now, in previous times, I had time to make 4 different swatches and really polish my work on my stitch. But this time, I didn't have as much time. But I did practice at least 2 swatches. I've done worse, people. I've done worse. So right here, we can see I can actually knit. And the first of you are going, did you knit that on a loom? I didn't make it to the loom, people. So today we are not doing loom knitting live because I did not get to that level. I know how to do it intellectually, but actual practice, it's not happening. It really, I would scar you for life. You'd be like, what is she doing? Yarn shouldn't do that. Yarn should never do that. So we're not gonna. But this is my first swatch. And just to show you just how great I am at this, that right there is my cable knit. Because guess what I thought? Every row should be the twist. Because the point of the cable knit is to take your yarn, pull out the stitches that you want to have a twist in, or if you have, for example, if you're trying to do like 6 stitches, half of those will be pulled aside so you can make the twist happen. And I thought you needed to do that every single row. And sorry, my eyes went over there because I thought it was one of the scavenger hunt people. But yeah, I was wrong. It is not every single row. If you do every single row the cable stitch, you're going to be horribly disappointed. Hi, how are you? I'm doing a live stream. Yeah, I'm talking to people on camera. Yep, everything I'm doing right now is being recorded. Bye. That was a little one. So not one of the scavenger hunt teens, but one of the little ones who just saw me talking to camera and thought, who's that crazy lady and why is she talking to a camera? I've got a reason. Anyway, you're my reason. Okay, so as you can see, do not knit every row with the same cable stitch. Do not pull every 3 stitches of the 6 every row. You do it once and then you go back, and I'll show you how to knit and purl in a way that makes that twist pop a little bit. One of the reasons you can see my twist at all is because I did knit and purl, even though I didn't realize I was supposed to knit and purl in a particular way. Actually, that doesn't look that bad. You can see the little twist there. It keeps going up and up and up. It could have come out worse. It's not great, but it could have come out worse. Let me show you worse. So this is where things really went wrong. My second swatch. My second swatch was, well, let's just say that's the bottom. You know how I promised you I'd be making a knot? I did. It's got big holes in it. Yeah, you can see my eyeball through there. Can you see? There's an eyeball. Yeah, you can see my eyeball through there. And there's a twist. It's definitely twisted. I don't know what I was thinking, but I went up like 2 rows, and we're not going to do that. We're going to go up multiple rows before we actually start putting the twist in. But I went up 2 rows, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to twist. And I tried to do the twist, and I got that weird bumpy thing. So after that, I said, oh no, we're not doing any more twists. And I just kind of gave up and just started doing a straight, knit stitch. So this is my bad twist. This is my regular knit stitch. This is me saying, okay, well, that was a nightmare. So third swatch. That's where I am right now. I think I finally got it right. And you guys are going to find out with me if I got it right or not. Now, if you guys are like knitting geniuses, please comment and I will respond to your comments. I'm looking right at them right now. So if you're watching this and you're going, oh, well, that's not how you do that. Don't feel any shame. Just let me know what I'm doing wrong or doing right. Totally happy to hear from you. Okay, so like I said, not going to be doing a live cable knit on the loom. I will be recording a loom cable stitch. I can do it, but I want to get some more practice in because as you can see, it's frightful. It's quite frightful. But the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is that we have multiple tools you can use to get the stitches to be pulled aside so you can do the twist. And I brought a lot of those tools with me. Now, some of you guys stopped by and got your own tools. Awesome. And you guys got this particular tool. This is one way to hold your stitches. Now, I looked online and I also found out you can use almost anything to hold your stitches. You can get a big paper clip and have that hold your stitches. You can get a stitch holder and have it hold your stitches. You can get anything that will hold those stitches, you use it. I mean, heck, if you want to, you can use one of these extra needles as long as you can get those stitches off of your needle onto something else, do it. And as long as it doesn't slide off. I'm not a big fan of the metal because the metal with acrylic, it's just, the acrylic yarn just slides right off the metal needle, in my opinion. There are stories of people going out to the forest, finding the perfect piece of wood, carving that wood into whatever shape they like, and using that as their stitch holder. Oh goody, something fell on the ground, and now I have to try to find it. Let's see if it's really important. No, it's not. I'm not going to try to find it because that would be totally embarrassing. Not into totally embarrassing thing, guys. Okay, so this right here is what they call a cable knit stitch holder, and it's specifically designed to hold cable knit. We're going to try to use this today. I have not yet used that when I'm knitting. I have used this tool, and I have used this tool, which I find helpful because it has 2 different sides to it. Here's a really small cable knit stitch holder. But, okay, here we go. This one is the one I've been using. And this one I found effective because it has 2 different sizes, so I can remember I put it on this side, and then I need to take it off that side. I can't take it off backwards, otherwise I'll end up with the reckoning. That was just a nightmare. So, in order that you put them on is the order you should take them off of your stitch holder. That's the first thing I learned painfully. again, that's why I have this weird knotty thing in my second swatch, because I took them off in reverse order and got huge holes. And it hit me like a eureka moment in the middle of the night. That's why I have huge holes. And that's why this does not have huge holes. You learn by doing, folks. You learn by doing. So again, let's review. You can use anything you like to hold your stitches as you're going through. Anything that you can take off your stitches onto. Anything at all. You can hold your stitches on. That's what you want to do. So you can use a needle, cable knitting needle, a stitch holder, and I'll show you how to put that on in a particular way. In fact, I'll use a stitch holder for the next twist I'm going to do on that blue yarn that I'm working with. But you have to put it on a certain way so that you take it off a certain way and it's not frustrating. You have to kind of go against what you might think to do with a safety pin. Go against the grain. It's okay. So you are going to need that as a tool. You're going to need yarn. Surprise! In knitting, you need yarn. And you're going to need your knitting needles. Not your loom, unless you want to try it on your loom. Feel free to do it on your loom. If you can adapt what I'm doing today to show on your loom, go for it. I will not stop you. Do not worry about it. So again, you have yarn, you have your knitting needles, you've got your tools, big, all these stitch holders. Whatever stitch holder you want to use, you use it. This one, this one, this one, whatever you want. If you got big yarn, I suggest a big one, but you know. Heck, again, you can use a big paper clip. As long as you can hold those yarn onto a piece of metal, you are all good. You don't have to think about it twice. So I'm going to put these away in my little packet holder because otherwise I'll lose them. And we're going to start with talking about casting on, because casting on is kind of important, and because I don't want you to have to watch me do this horrible cable knit stitch any longer than you have to. So let's start with casting on. For those of you who are, oh, I forgot, next month I'm going to be doing the chunky knit. So these are the knitting needles I'm going to use with chunky yarn. And I'm probably going to end up making like a really big trivet from really thick yarn as I knit it. And I'll be knitting that. And I feel confident that I can knit with this a trivet or a very large washcloth from chunky yarn. And I'll be able to do that in November. I'm not sure if I'll be in this office when I do it, but I'll be knitting away as I try to create something that is interesting and fun, and hopefully something that you can see yourself using. I've never, ever used needles this big. I've never used chunky yarn that's really big, but I look forward to the challenge. So we begin with casting on. Now, take your knitting needles, and I choose wood because wood has that wonderful grip and grain that when I'm using acrylic, it's kind of key because it's the only way I can actually keep the yarn on the needle. If you use something else like metal or plastic, you might want to use a cotton. I love cotton because cotton has a little more grip to it. Honestly, I'd rather use cotton and wood or bamboo or whatever floats your boat, but I'd rather use bamboo, honestly, because I like the feel of it. But I'm going to use wood today, and I am going to move the camera now. So if you get nauseous easily, I'm giving you that warning. Why am I moving the camera? So that you can see more of the stitch, and I don't have to keep my arms up here to show you how I'm stitching. Okay, here we go. We're moving. We're moving. We're moving. We're moving. Yes, double chin territory, people. Okay. Isn't that a great view? I know. It's the best. Okay. Ooh, that's even worse. We'll do it this way. Okay. Ah, there you are. You can see the knitting needles. I don't have to strain my shoulders or my arms. It's a good day, folks. It's a good day. Yeah. Alrighty. So, get your knitting needles. Get your yarn. And the first thing we're going to do is practice making our start. Now, for those of you who have done this before, you know how to cast on. But for those of you who don't, watch carefully. We're just going to take the yarn in our hands I'm going to turn this a little bit so that you don't have to. Okay, did I make it worse? There we go. So we're going to take the yarn in our hands and we're going to bring the yarn together. That's going to create a loop. When you create that loop, take the yarn. See how that loop was created? See how that loop was created? Take that yarn, put it over the back of your loop and pull it through. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time so you guys can see how to do that. Take the yarn, bring it together. You've made a loop. See how you've made that loop? Take this part that is longer, put it over, reach through, okay, a bit of a slip knot there, so you can see how that looks. Okay, put this on your first needle, adjust as needed. And now we're going to begin the process of adding our loops. Now for today's beginning, when it comes to using this very simple cable stitch we're going to do, we're going to cast on, and I do this in threes because we're making a 6 stitch wide cable. I'm going to add on 3, 3, 3, and 3. So we're going to add on 12 stitches. The first stitch is already here. We just put it on with our little slip knot. And now we're going to put the rest of our stitches on. So make a thumb. Ooh, for those of you who remember the fonts. Some of you are like, how old are you? Yeah, really old. Okay, so take your thumb like so. Take your yarn. See how I have this yarn held in my right hand? And I'm going to wrap that around my thumb. So I'm going to wrap that around my thumb. Now once I've done that, make sure you guys can see this. I've wrapped the yarn around my thumb. Then I'm going to slide, out of focus, sorry. Then I'm going to slide my needle between the yarn and my thumb, okay? So I'm going to do that one more time. Make a thumb. Eee. I will stop making the fawn sounds, I promise. No promise. Okay, make the thumb. Good. Take the yarn. Wrap it around the thumb. Bring the needle inside, right by the thumb. Pull the long yarn. This is just leftovers from the slip knot. Doesn't even need to be that. You know what? I'm going to just shorten this right now so you guys can visually see what I'm doing and not be confused at all by it. I'm adjusting my slip knot. I'm adjusting the slip knot. Yeah. I wonder if I did my slip knot wrong because it shouldn't be this complicated. Let me see something. It's a slip knot. I'm taking it apart. I'm going to try it again. Fingers together. Boom. Make that loop. Boom. Pull through the loop. Boom. Boom. No, it's right. Okay, I did it right. I mean, sometimes if you're not sure, there's nothing wrong with taking apart your work and trying again. No shame, folks. It's knitting. It's not the end of the world. Andrea, good to see you. Hi. Glad you're here. So, as you got your slip knot, put it on there. And again, if you guys want to just say hey on the comments, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's good to hear from you. Let's try it again. Casting on. I feel confident about my slip knot now. Actually, I like to kind of grab it with my fingers here and pull it through. And then put my thumb in there. But then I have to let it go. But that's up to you. You hold it the way you want to. Put the yarn. Let's make sure you guys can see this. So I've wrapped it around the wood and my thumb. Then I'm going to grab the long yarn. put it through my thumb and knit yarn, slide it up, put my thumb over, and then pull it a little bit, and I've got my second loop. I'm going to do that again because I'm going for 12, just like you guys. We're putting 12 of these on. Okay, guys? Down and around. Slide it right by my thumb. Letting go of that yarn, which I like apparently to hold on to. Take the yarn up through the thumb and the wood. Slide it over the top. Give it a little pull. Yeah, things might look a little weird for a few seconds till you tighten it up a little bit. Just pull it, just give it a little pull, and you'll end up with a nice looking loop there. Adjust as needed. Don't worry about it. Adjusting as needed. Okay. All right, gonna do it again. Do it a little bit faster. So if you're going, don't do it fast. Okay, nutcase, we're trying to follow. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. I can go slower. That was the fast version. And I will go slower now. And again, I'm using a big yarn with slightly bigger needles that I'm going to actually be knitting with in a few seconds so you can see how I'm casting on. Using my finger as a bit of a fulcrum to tighten things up a little bit faster. But really, we're just making nice little loops. Nice little loops. And do that for 12. When you've done 12, you can let me know, or if you're well beyond this, you're like, listen, I've cast on, I've knitted 7 rows, I'm ready to do the cable knit stitch. Well, once you've cast on all 12 of these, then we're going to knit, just plain old knit, for at least 3 to 4 rows. So if you've already cast on the 12 that you're going to do, go ahead and knit 3 to 4 rows. I'm going to say go for 4 versus 3 before we start doing any kind of fancy knit stitching, because I want to make sure you're comfortable. So get your loops on there, make them as tight as you need to, and we will start knitting. I'm going to give it a few more loops. So I think I should go ahead and do, you know what, I got to do 6 more of these to get to 12. I'm going to go ahead and do 12. Go a little bit faster. Again, when you pull on it, it tries to go together. You have to like separate them. I'm using my thumb to do that. See how I'm holding it back so it'll make that nice little loop I want. Again, wrap it around the thumb, slide it up. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Oops, I did it wrong. Let me try that again. Bump, bump. Okay, yeah, around. Slide it in there. Wait, I did it wrong again. What am I doing wrong? Let me see what I did wrong. Oh, yeah, that. I got tangled up in my own yarn, folks. It's gonna happen. Maybe I should go slower. Yeah. If you can't see what I'm doing, let me know. I am now officially at 8. I have to do 4 more. Got hair in my eyeball. Okay. Yeah, hair in my eye is not a lot of fun. So let's repeat that one more time. I got 3 more times to do this. Wrap it around the thumb. Slide it, okay. Slide it in there. In camera, make sure I'm not driving you all crazy. Oof, sorry. You can see there's a lot of loops on there. If you've gotten the hang of this, once you learn how to cast on, life is so much easier. I watch so many videos on YouTube that would teach me how to cast on, and it wasn't really. Okay, again, watch how I'm wrapping it. Between the thumb and the needle, over the top. Adjust as needed. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Here we go. And I think I'm on my last one. And don't worry, when you pull this, it's going to look so pretty. It's going to look so nice. You're going to be like, wait, that was so hard and weird looking to do. Last time, again, around the thumb, between the yarn and the thumb, you slide that needle, and you put the yarn between the needle and thumb again. Take your thumb over the top of the needle, and you have your last loop. All right, folks, you've got 12 loops. 12 loops. And you're ready to begin knitting. Let's go ahead and do 3 rows of plain knitting. Now, for this right here, which I'm working on, I have already begun a particular pattern. The reason I've begun this particular pattern is because this is my 3rd swatch with the cable knit, and I am not a knitting genius. I will be knitting the first stitch, purling the next 2, knitting the next 6 because that is where my twist occurs, purling the next 2, and then knitting 1. It is the simplest, and I do mean the simplest way for me to do this. So I am basically just trying to put 1 twist in. If you're fancy dancy and you do all kinds of crazy great stuff, you can go ahead and put in 2 or 3 twists in, 2 or 3 cables in, go for it. But I'm gonna just do the 1 because I'm new, very new. Yes, very new. Okay, back to it. So I'm gonna start with the stitch, the knit stitch. Now, I don't feel comfortable doing the knit stitch. I prefer the purl, but I'm forcing myself to do this knit stitch because that's the first thing I've ever learned. Okay, so in order to knit, in case you weren't sure, take your first needle, not like this. Take your needle like so. Stick it in the back. The back. See that right there? I'm going to stick this needle. I'm going to go to the angle here so you can see me do it. Stick it in the back and slide it through underneath the back. And the yarn's already waiting for you in the back. And you're going to just wrap it around the needle that you just stuck back there and pull it through. Okay, I'm going to do it again so you can see it. Wrap it around the needle you just stuck it through and pull that stitch through. Take it off. And now I want to purl. I'm going to purl for 2. So I'm going to move my yarn to the front. Stick my needle. See my needle here? Stick it in the front of that stitch. Point it upward, wrap the yarn around it, pull it through. I like purling better. I like to stick the needle in the front, wrap the yarn around it, pull it through. Boom. For me, that's so much faster. So much faster. I just don't like knitting, I guess. I like to purl more. So if I get my druthers, I just like, purl, 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 purl. This feels right. Knitting does not. Knitting feels backwards. So that's why I'm sticking my needle in the front, back here, through the back, wrapping it around, putting it to the front. And hopefully, when you guys do this, it feels natural to you, unlike the way it feels towards me. So do 3 rows or 4 rows after you cast on of knitting. And some of you are just like click-clacking away and you're super fast. Once you put, I have a visitor. I'll be right back. It's a live stream, folks. This is how we do it. Okay. And that happens in Facebook Live. I told you it was part of a scavenger hunt, so yeah. Okay, where was I? Right, I was knitting, not purling. Right, I never forget to knit. Anyway, so you gotta knit, Got it, got it, got it. I will admit one thing about knitting. It does allow you to, I was talking about how tight these were, right? Right, I already put one twist in, and I think it's turning out really well. I think when I was doing the other swatches, when I wasn't just putting in cable knit every single time, that is, I was going back and forth with the knitting and the purling, which led to a lot of confusion. And I was using variegated or multicolored yarn, this yarn here, and it was throwing me off my game. So I like using a solid colored yarn if I'm going to have to do something like a cable knit, because for some reason my eyeballs do not like the variegated colors there. It's just like, nope, do not understand, do not like, not going to look, not going to make sense of what I'm seeing. Okay, so now I've done the cable that I started with, the twist. I've done all the knitting there, so I'm going to switch back over to purling, which means I put the yarn to the front, and I get to do what my favorite thing is, just pull it right through. Pull it right through. It just feels natural to me. I don't know, maybe knitting feels natural to you. I mean, go with it. If you can knit and be totally comfortable with it, unlike me who goes, that feels so wrong, good for you. Okay. Again, we're doing 3 rows of this, and then the switcheroo or the twist will come in, and we'll be using one of our wonderful tools. And I'm going to try to show you an example of how to use each one of the tools. So, if you're not, we are going to knock this out of the park. Again, first stitch for every time we do this is going to be a knit. Next 2 stitches, oh boy, I just lost my stitch. Try it again. A knit. Okay, I better not talk and do this, because apparently knitting is so difficult for me, I can't knit and talk at the same time. I can in a loom. So after I do 1 knit, then I'm going to do 2 purl. And then I'm going to do 6 knit. Any questions, anybody? Okay, back to purling. I just find purling to be such a relief. I don't know. If you like knitting, more power to you. It just makes more sense to me to move that yarn to the front, see what I'm doing, pull it right through, boom, boom. And then when I go back to knitting, it's like, dun, 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 dun. Do it right? Okay. But if you look carefully, look what I'm doing, because I put the twist in already. You can see it kind of comes together. You're like, all I see is a ball of yarn. Seriously, it's actually looking better than the first. I mean, let's compare and contrast, folks. This is step 3. This is step 1. 1 big knot and not a big knot. I'm making progress. Progress, I tell you. So, I'm actually getting the little twist in the cable. See the little twist in the cable? Oops, I went the wrong way. It's hard to do this backwards, folks. That is the twist in the cable. You can actually see it. You can actually see it. Oh, so happy, so happy, so happy. Hello, other person. They're part of the scavenger hunt, but they haven't come over to say hi. I think they're afraid of offending me, and I'm just like, no, I'm good. Come on in. I'm gonna have to wave at people and wave them in, so don't freak out. I'm gonna have to wave people in. Okay. Alrighty then. So we have only got 20 minutes left, and I think it's time. That we do 1 row, and then we twist it. All right. So knit 1 more time. Knit 1, purl 2, knit 6, purl 2, knit 1. Remember, that's our pattern. We started off. I'm doing the wrong stick. Oh my gosh, I was using the big stick again. Yeah, I try to keep it to 2 needles, people, not 4. Don't be like me. Knit 1, purl 2, and notice how deftly I move the yarn from the front to the back. Oh yeah, that's how much I love purling. I'd rather purl than anything in the world. Okay. And then, oops, I almost did something backwards there. Almost did something weird, like a mixture of purling knitting. That's my other thing. I really want to pull the yarn from the front so bad that I don't even want to put this needle in the back here. I want to stick it through the front and then have the yarn in the back and pull it to the front. And I don't even know what that will be called. I just know it doesn't look right. So if it looks wrong, I don't want to do that to me. So, boy, this is tight. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. The good news is, folks, even though the twist will feel very wrong when we put it in the next row, it's going to look really great. That's the good news. And I'm keeping an eye on my stitches because I know when I get here, after these 3 stitches, I am purling. So I will struggle through this knitting I'm doing right now. Grabbing this yarn from the back. And honestly, part of me says you should have done this in cotton because I always argue with acrylic. My fingers don't like acrylic. I do not. It's just not for me. Okay, one more knit. If you like acrylic, do it. Do it all the time. Acrylic all the way. But me, I'm a cotton and bamboo natural fabrics kind of girl. Yup, that's me. Okay. So, yeah, you can tell I like purling because I'm just like boom, 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 purling time. And then I switch my yarn to the back for my knit stitch. Boom, boom. Okay, so the twist is in. I'm going to block it for a few minutes. I learned a new word. Blocking means to pull stuff out so it looks flatter and you can kind of see your pattern a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to twist it. Get ready to cable it. Are you as excited as I am? Because I'm excited and a little nervous. A lot nervous. Yeah. So we're going to first start with using this actual tool for the cable knit. Then we're going to use the stitch holder. Then we're lastly going to use my favorite one. The only one I've used previously. Like I said, you guys are learning this with me. Fun, the fish hook. I like the fish hook. I'm calling it the fish hook. And guys, I don't know if that's the correct name. I do have the Knitter's Dictionary right here, and I could look it up, but I don't know. If I look up fish hook, what will come up? Let's see what happens if I look up fish hook. It's in alphabetical order. Genius librarian at work. Where is the fish hook at? Under the F's. Okay. G. Not a lot of F's in there. Fisherman's rib and no fish hook. So I just made up a new word, folks. I will be using the fish hook. And if you know the proper name, you can put it in the comments. I am just saying, I'm going to end with this. Hopefully that's giving everybody a chance to catch up and you've got your 3 stitches in and you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to put our first things first. Remember, we knit 1 and purl 2. Why are we purling 2? So that our cable will pop a little more. We want to make sure we have a contrast between the cabling, which is knit and twisted, and the purling, which is just flat, so that the cable that we're doing will come out a little more obviously. So I am now going to knit the first stitch. And remember, when we do this, when I record this again and I make the video, I'm going to have you doing it on the loom, so you'll be able to see how it's going to look from the get-go. And I'm just going to put that cable right in the middle of a very plain blue yarn pattern. So I've knit my first stitch, and now I get to purl. Make myself happy. Wait, I started doing the knit. Ooh. Purl, people, purl. Stick it in the front, grab the yarn, pull it through. Easy peasy. Stick it in the front, grab the yarn, pull it through. My life is so easy. And now it is time to cable. For those of you at home, oh, I just moved the camera. Did not mean to do that. Sorry. Oopsie daisy. Ooh, oh my goodness, so much movement. Sorry guys, not trying to make you motion sick. I promise. Take this tool and take a look at this yarn that is on here that you're going, direction you're going in, and stick it through 3 of the 6 and take it off of that tool. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I'm going to put it back on and show you what it looks like on the other tool. Is that more complicated for me? Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, I slid it on, and that's what it looks like. And I'm just going to skip over that now and start knit and continue knitting my next 3. So, pull it off onto the extra piece you have there, that in this case, the knitting, the cable knits needle, and then we'll be sliding that off later. Why is this preferred by some people? A lot of people go out in the forest, get a piece of wood and carve it into the shape so that they can have something that works for them. Because the way you put it on, you slide it in one way, it slides off the other way when you're ready to knit it. It's very easy to use. Now, the fish hook, I'm going to show you next. Again, I'm going to put it back on and show it to you how it looks when you take it off the fish hook. And of course, the yarn wants to split on me, because that's what yarn does. It makes my life hard. Stop making my life hard, yarn. Okay, I'm going to put this down while I reinsert this so you guys can see this again. Just putting it back on. Also, if you accidentally grab the wrong stuff, this is also a good thing to know, that you can put it back on the knitting needle. Okay? Mistakes are allowed. You are allowed to make mistakes. Take this bad boy, putting it down, to show you how it works with the fish hook. Choose an end that's going to go in first. Slide it in. Take it off those 3. Pull it off. Pull it off. Okay? And then you just drop it towards the front, not the back. Make sure you're dropping everything we're doing towards the front, because that's the kind of twist we're putting in. Okay? All right? I'm going to put it back on the needle again and show you with the final tool that I know I handed out, so everybody knows how that one works. This was tricky because it has a little thing right here, which can get in the way. So you're going to have to make sure you go in pointy side first, and it's going to come off the same side. And go in. I'm sorry, I'm not showing you guys how that works. Let me try that again. I'm afraid of losing a needle, which I've already done once today. Slide it in the back here, those 3. Pull it off that needle, and then drop it towards you. This is what we're calling the front. Okay, right in front of the camera. Drop it towards you. That's what it should look like. Mr. Camera, where are you? There you are. That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like. Okay? So, you're now going to knit the next... Oh, I have the yarn in the front. Gotta pull this yarn around, and over, and through. Make sure your yarn's in the back because we're knitting, not purling. So, you're going to now knit the next 3 stitches. So, knit 1, knit. I'm saying it out loud to remind myself. I just really want to purl. And yeah, it's going to be tight. One suggestion, oh, that's my timer to remind me to make sure I end this on time. One suggestion I was given by the Be Hooked website is to make sure I'm holding this tight when I'm doing this so that I don't have big holes as I twist my cable. So hold your yarn tight as you pull it through. This will prevent holes in your cable. Knit again. Okay, working that needle from the... People call it the front, but I call it the back of the stitch underneath that leading needle and pulling it through. And guess where the twist comes in? Guess is where the twist comes in. Let go of the area you were working towards and go back and grab these guys you were working on before. Take your tool like so, and you're going to work each one of these needles off. This is the actual twist that makes the cable possible. You're going to start working each one of these stitches off of this metal. So, just like you knit, knitting is a struggle for me, so it's get real entertaining real fast. You're going to let go of the guy that's holding the stitches you're going to do next, but you're going to focus in on this middle one that has your stitches that you're making your cable with. I'm balancing this guy on my lap, okay? So you guys can see, I'm sticking my needle in the back. My yarn is already in the back. It's falling way in the back. I don't want that to happen. And then I'm going to wrap the yarn around that needle and stitch it right off that stitch holder. And do it again. Grab this little guy here who's so tight and get him in there. Wrap that yarn around him. And I'm using my finger to hold it in place because this metal is slippery. And I'm going to stitch it right off that tool. Again, going through that yarn, I'm knitting it right off this little metal piece here. Wrapping the yarn, pulling it. Did it just split on me? Yeah, I think it tried to split on me, but it didn't. Whew. Okay, this yarn, I don't know, guys. I am just not a fan of acrylic. So you can see it was fighting me. I pulled it off. This twist is going to be super tight for a while as you're knitting. Don't worry about it. Guess what I get to do now? I get to purl! I get to purl! Which really is like the best thing for me after doing something so stressful. So I'm going to purl 2 stitches, just like you guys are, because again, we want this twist to pop. Purl 2 stitches. Again, sticking your needle in the front, grabbing that yarn, pulling it off. And then we're going to end with a knit stitch. So put the yarn to the back. Pull it off. So, let's see what it looks like, folks. You see any kind of pattern? I see a pattern. Not sure if I like it, but I see a pattern. Oh, the struggle is real, guys. The struggle is real. I really, really, really super duper hope that by the time I am doing this in the loom, I am much better at this, but I can't make any promises. All the knitting videos will be up in December when programming slows a little bit because we're going to have wonderful Christmas holidays and New Year's holidays and Hanukkah holidays. And someone's here to visit me. I'm going to go say hi to them too. Sorry, I wasn't part of the plan. Okay, folks, we got 9 minutes to really make this pattern pop. So let's go ahead and let's put in a total of 4 more rows of knit, purl, knit, purl. Now this is something I didn't know when I made this nightmare scenario of making things all twisted and whatever and doing the cable stitch multiple times. After you put in your cable stitch that we just did, then you're going to do the following. You're going to, like, remember how we were knitting 1, purling 2? That's right. We're going to knit 1, purl 2, knit 6, because that's going to go right over your twist. And it's going to make it pop out a little bit more. Now, is this going to be perfect the first time you do it? No. This is my best one so far, folks. If you're struggling, if you're like, oh my goodness, this looks like a big knot, I can show you a big knot, all right? I can show you big holes, all right? If you're struggling with this, again, the Be Hooked lady said, and I'm going to have to agree with her, it takes about 4 tries, 4 separate swatches, 4 of these before you get anything close to something that you're proud of. But I don't want you guys to lose hope. I don't want you guys to get, oh no, this is like the hardest thing I've ever done, and why is it so difficult? Yes, I'm moving the camera, and I should have warned you. I did not want you to think about getting motion sick. I thought if I don't say anything, maybe they won't get motion sick. There goes the hair acting crazy. Anyway, continue stitching for 4 more rows, then put another cable twist in there. Again, the key, you can, again, use a big paper clip. You can use this. You can use this. The key is to pull those 3 stitches out of the way stitch for 3 more, then go back and stitch those 3 that you had there and pull the tulle out. Put the tulle away. And when you come back to that row again, what we're going to do is what we're going to do next. And I just grabbed the wrong needle. See how these needles don't look anything alike? I should. I really should. Correct needle. See, they have the little red ends. These were donated to the library, which I'm very grateful for, these needles being donated. Please don't donate any more needles, though. We have like, how many pairs? 57 pairs of needles. We've got all the needles we need, folks. Thank you so much. Yarn, we're doing okay. But if you've got some big chunky yarn, I'll take it, honestly, because looking at our yarn, I don't see anything chunky enough that would warrant the use of these bad boys. So I'm looking for chunky yarn. I'm going to find it. But if you've got chunky yarn sitting at home, you're like, I hate that stuff. It's so heavy. It just overwhelms me. I'll be willing to try it. I'll maybe return to you the finished trivet if you'd like. I do the knitting. You get to enjoy the finished product. How's that sound? Okay. Well, back to the work at hand. So we are going back to, I got my yarn in the front. Got to keep my yarn in the back for the knitting. Knit 1. Oh, and as you're doing this with me, feel free to post on Facebook what you're knitting, what your cable looks like. That's absolutely okay. Purl 2, thank goodness. It feels natural to me. And yeah, I know, I'm holding this in midair. And some of you are going, wait, you just told us you didn't want to strain your back or anything, your shoulders or anything. I know, but I have to keep changing positions so I don't strain myself. But yeah, that what you just saw me do was purling, and I do it super fast because I like it. I like to purl. I like pearls, really. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. All right, so stitching now with the knit stitch, really putting thought into it. But I want you to understand something. After I do knit 1, purl 2, and when I go back to that knit stitch, I'm on that twist. I'm making that twist flatten out into a nice, cool, twisty pattern. And when I'm done, and I'm not sure if this really translates to camera, when I'm done, I can see that this is coming together in a really cool pattern. I'm not sure you guys can see the cool pattern I'm seeing, but I swear it's there, folks. It's there. There's an awesome pattern. There's a pattern to all of it. You're like, okay, lady. But this first row you do right after you do the twist is going to be tight. We kind of want it to be tight again to avoid those really big holes. Oh, look at me. I'm knitting like a champion. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm knitting like a champion. See, practice does make perfect. You can get better. You can get faster. You can be like the $6 million man when you knit. Faster, better, stronger, faster, blah, 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 blah. I don't know all the words. Need a bit before I'm done. But I kind of do. Yeah, this yarn is just falling apart on me. It's a real work. Uh-oh, I made a mistake. Uh-oh, look at the mistake I made. Oh, aside from almost running out of time here. Oh, it is 4:30. But let me fix my mistake with you first. I kept knitting because I was on a roll, and I knit when I should have purled. So guess what? I'm going to fix my mistake on camera. I'm going to pull this off the needle. Then I'm going to stick my needle in the loop that it was on before. So I got to move this out of the way. Go back in there, grab that, and then I'm going to yank on the yarn that I've been feeding through and pull it out. Pull it out of that hole. Okay, so I'm back to purling, which I love to do. And again, folks, practice makes perfect. You're not going to do this right perfectly the first time you do it, but every time gets better. You have no idea how afraid I was to do this on camera because I knew that this was going to be a scary, scary time for me because I, as you can see, was not really killing it when it comes to the cable knit. I was kind of wandering through blindly and hoping for the best. And I really appreciate your support in coming to watch the video. I really appreciate your support in coming and getting your own knitting tools and doing it with me. I think you guys will see over time, do 5 more rows of the knit 1, purl 2, knit 6, purl 2, knit 1, and then put your twist in again. And keep going through that and you will see a pattern appearing in your knit. when you get a nice swatch done, take a picture of it, post it on Facebook, tag the Macmillan Library so I can see how awesome your work is. If you do decide to do something more fancy than this and you are an amazing cable knitter, I would love to learn more. Please tag the Macmillan Library, show everybody how awesome you are. I don't care if you use a stitch holder like so, or if you use a cable knit, or if you use what I've named the fish hook. Do whatever works best for your hands and your work. Use whatever yarn you like. If you find that wooden needles are your bane, you hate them, that's okay. You can hate wooden needles. I love them. I love not losing my stitches. I'm not a fan of acrylic. And guess what, guys? It's yarn. So you know this right here, this thing I made? Let's say you make this and you're frustrated, you don't like it, you're not happy with it. Guess what you can do with yarn? You can do that. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. If you don't like something, take it down, take it apart. There is no permanent thing here. You are not writing these in stone. You are trying to create something beautiful. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Do not be judgmental to yourself as you're making these wonderful creations. And share what you've made. Share your struggles. It's okay. We want to see the great stuff you make. We want to see the tough spots you find yourself in. And most of all, we want to see you. So make sure you stop by the Macmillan Library. We are open. Yes, we are open, people. Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. And we want you to stop by and just visit with us and say hello or run by my office and go, oh my gosh, she wants to talk to me. Whatever, I don't care. I just want you to use our services and know that you're welcome here. Again, glad you tuned in. Hope you have a great, great week. And I will see you when you come to the library here at the Macmillan Memorial Library. Have a great day, folks. Bye-bye.